Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines 2, where we are in the city of Tampere. And today's actually kind of an exciting episode. We are going to be getting a little bit crazy with some hospitals, and we're actually going to be building out 3 of them. So we're going to build out one over here, we're going to build out one over here by this little lake, and we are going to build out and kind of develop this little downtown area over here. But first, before I jump in, I wanted to go over a few things. So I did want to take a look at our last build. I think this looks really cool, and it's definitely opening up my horizons a little bit to detailing. I'm finding myself kind of falling in love with this game despite some of its problems and lack of assets. I think that I'm really starting to enjoy this, which is kind of cool. And that's really where leading into today's build kind of comes, because we start to get a little bit crazy with some of these builds, so it's super fun. And then I did also add in 2 new mods. So I added in extended tooltips, and what it does is it just allows you to see the tooltips, from the building without having to click on it, which can really be a huge benefit. Like, I really like the features of it a lot, and it actually provides a lot of information that you don't normally get by clicking on the building, which is kind of cool. And then the second mod that I added is the zone color changer. And the main reason I added it is because it allows these blocks to not be as bright. And so now they're more clear. So whenever I'm building in the zoning, view, a lot, in the vanilla mode, I think these are just a little too bright. And so I'm not really going to change any of the other colors, but you do get this button. And so if I hit edit zone colors, now I can come in here and basically change the color of whatever I want. So say I'm having a hard time, differentiating high density from like mixed use or medium density, and I want this to be like a little bit darker, this a little darker, whatever. I can do that now, which is kind of cool. And so now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and get crazy. And you can kind of see our city is definitely in need of some hospital upgrades. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first one that we are going to be doing is the one over here on the backside of our little marina district. And what we're going to need to do first is do some landscaping. So we're going to go into the landscaping tab. We're going to grab that level terrain tool. We're going to right click down here, and we're going to be getting a little bit crazy. So now the story for this, we can kind of imagine that maybe, a private medical facility came into town and they saw that there was a huge lack. And so they actually spoke with the city officials and made an agreement to build 3 hospitals, with some conditions. And one of the conditions was that the city helped to excavate this area. And the city actually complied, because a lot of this is really good dirt. And so it ends up being shipped throughout the whole city and being sold. And a lot of times it ends up helping to fund a lot of those projects. I know we've kind of talked about that in the past. We do need to get a little crazy here. So you can kind of see that this is an elevated piece. What we need to do is actually kind of redraw a lot of this in, because I don't want it to be elevated on this piece. So we're now going to come back, and the goal is to turn some of this back to a retaining wall. So some of it is going to be elevated, but largely we want most of this to be non-elevated. So let's go ahead and go into our medium roads now. We're going to go into 4-lane divided, and we're going to go into continuous. And I want to come off at a 180, and then I want to come in like right about there. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and go this way now, and we want to connect this up. And we'll go like that. Perfect. And it looks like, yeah, did that go? Why is this different? Oh, because we have this divided and the other side was not divided. So let's go ahead and bring this all the way down. I think the divided is smart, especially when you don't have a bunch of turns and stuff. So we'll go ahead and make that divided. So now let's go into highways, and we need to reconnect up our 4-lane 2-way highway that goes to our bridge crossing. So we're going to come off here, come out at a 180, and then we want to try to center it with this with the bridge. So now we'll go back into medium, go into the divided again, start off at this location. And this is going to be a little bit tricky, but we want to make sure that this comes off good. So yeah, if we go like that, perfect. And then while we're over here, we do routinely get some traffic issues. So what I'm going to do is actually upgrade these to asymmetric, just because we want to provide a little bit more room coming onto this highway. This was something that I've routinely done in my test builds, but I've just never done it in an episode. And so I think it's smart. And whenever you have a high volume intersection, it's good to have those two, because then you provide different turns. So now there's a dedicated turn for people going left, and there's a dedicated turn for people going right. And then if we do find that there's still a little bit of traffic issues, we can actually go into the traffic mod. Click this. I don't want these people to be able to go into both lanes. And so, yeah, it looks like right there. Let's go ahead and take this off. And what I want is these people to be, this to be a dedicated lane, and then this to be, and I don't want them to be able to go in that lane either. I want this lane to go there, and I want this lane to go there. This is really going to help to limit the traffic in this area. So we can also add another lane in there too, which is nice. So let's go back. We're going to click that, and then let's go ahead and have this one continue on. We do not want it to turn. We want this to be the dedicated turn and that to be the dedicated turn. And now we're going to do the same thing here. I don't want these people to be able to turn into that secondary lane. I don't want them to block this traffic. I would prefer this lane to either go straight or to go right. And ideally, we could even get rid of the going straight. Like if they somehow messed up and need to get off here, they need to go around and kind of figure themselves out, because going straight through is just going to cause more traffic. This can also help with pathfinding as well, just by getting rid of that. You see how it kind of crosses over into that second lane as well? We can get rid of those, because that a lot of times that's what's hurting traffic. And you can even see this U-turn as well. We do not want this, especially for an interchange like this. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Get rid of the U-turns, get rid of the U-turns. We really only want the main route. We don't want them changing lanes in the intersection. That's just going to cause a lot of problems. But now that we got that, let's go back to what we were doing. We need to go down the roads, we need to go into roundabouts, and we need to put in another roundabout. And we're going to do this big one, very large roundabout with trees. I wonder, with tree and hedge. That actually looks kind of cool. I haven't used these ones yet. I wonder if we should do, so I'm thinking the big one brings it a little bit too close to that intersection. I'm wondering if maybe this next one down is going to be a little bit of a better fit. Yeah, if we go like that, let's go ahead and check that out. That actually looks really cool. They did like a curb. I don't even know where this asset comes from. I kind of wish they would make this into a net lane, because I think that would be really cool to kind of be able to draw this around certain things. That would really help with some detailing. But now that we have that, we can go ahead and unpause, let these poor cars figure themselves out. There's probably going to be a bunch of accidents. You can even see these people already created a bunch of accidents. We'll let this run for a second. Hopefully they've figured themselves out. This truck back there is still pretty confused. There's just like a huge traffic jam back here. They're really not sure what's going on. So now the next thing we need to do, we need to grab the bulldoze tool, and we are going to bring this all the way back. And the reason is because we really need this to be an elevated piece for a lot of the sections. I want to create some more accessibility back here. So we're going to go ahead and drop our elevation down. We want this to be level slightly decreasing. Yeah, there you go. So we'll go like that. And then what we're going to do is bring it around now. And you can see that's the negative 0.6% grade. That's kind of what we're going for here. We really don't want it to be a huge grade drop. And it already is going to be a little bit big, so we kind of need to be careful how it ends up turning up. So we want this to go like right here, and then let's go ahead and connect that up. What happened here? Did I like go into the ground? Okay, so let's trim that back, and let's actually try this again, because I definitely don't want to go into the ground. That's not something that is necessary. So we'll go like this now and bring it around. Go ahead and connect it up. Yeah, -3. I mean, that's still kind of steep. It's not too bad though. Like trucks would be able to take that, which is really the goal here. So now we are going to kind of move these over. Let's actually, we could delete one. We could just shift it over though too. So I'm going to go into the movement mod. And what I'm going to do is just shift this a little bit over so that we can get a road in here. So if we go like this, perfect. Look at that. I like, because people start using this as a cut through, so it'd be a little bit better if we could actually just keep it straight. So we want to go like this, and let's go ahead and check out that bump in there. So I think we want to change that. Let's go ahead and smoothen that just a little bit. So I'm actually going to get rid of that, and then what we're going to do is go into the slope tool. We're going to drop that slope down. We're going to go all the way from right here, and then let's start from like right there. Yeah, there you go. It's not a huge slope. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much it's going to change it, but I think it's just going to be a little bit better. So now we will come up here. Let's go straight, and then let's go ahead and curve into the road. Perfect. And so the first building we are going to be building here under the healthcare and death care tab is actually the disease control center. I've been kind of itching to use this building for a while. I think it's a really cool building. And I think this is a really good spot for it. So we're going to place it as close to that road as we can. And then we want it to be kind of perpendicular-ish to that road. And then what we're going to do is go into roads, grab that alley, and then we are going to actually bring this all the way across, connect this up, and then let's go ahead and curve it in. Yeah, we're going to go just like that. Fantastic. And the reason I did that is because it allows some kind of broader detailing opportunities over here. And I have some really fun ideas for these sides. I think it's going to come together really cool. So let's actually go into landscaping now. Let's grab our tree. Let's go into the multi-brush, turn this off. And then what we're going to do is actually get rid of all the trees and stuff real quick, just so that we can come back. We're going to do our own detailing. And maybe, again, they even used the lumber for the job, you know, like they cut down all the trees and used it within the city. And this is something that you do routinely see, especially in areas that have a lot of trees. You'll have like a clearing. And so let's first off create a sound barrier for this road. So we're going to go into road services, We're going to go like this. This is just going to create a little bit of a better separation for this area. And it helps to block off the sound. Like noise pollution is definitely an issue in this game. So now the second thing we're going to do, we're going to go back into roads. Let's go into parking. And I want to do this big overground parking lot. I really like this parking lot. I think it provides a lot of parking, and it's definitely something that you do see in big medical facilities like this. Like having a lot of parking is something that is very realistic. Kind of wish I could move that. Well, it looks like our poor pathway in there is just going to have a little bit of issues. You know what? It's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and unpause, let some people figure this route out now, and especially since this is going to be a huge cut through, I think this looks pretty good. So let's now grab a road, and what we're going to do is come next to this, and we need to do the hospital. So what we're going to do is have this come back. We could even potentially have it connect up. I don't think we're going to, though. I think we'll go just like that, and then what we can do now is grab our hospital, and I kind of want this to be butted up against that. I wonder how close. You know, we're going to do it right there. I think that looks good. Yeah, because then it provides, again, some more detailing opportunities back there, which is kind of fun. So now we will grab this road, come all the way back, and then let's go ahead and turn it up. I don't know why this is creating. Yeah, we want to go just like that. And we want this to terminate in this intersection. It does create kind of a weird, turn in there, but honestly, I think it looks good. And then now we're actually going to have another intersection come off here if we can. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And it does create, again, kind of a weird intersection, but honestly, it's not that bad. So we're going to connect that up now. And then what we're going to put back here is actually a crematorium. And I kind of like the idea of the crematorium back here. I think it's kind of out of the way. Like maybe if you're going to the hospital, you don't see that there's a crematorium there. Like it's kind of morbid, And then we are going to give them both the refrigeration expansion and the additional incineration upgrade. And then we're going to do 2 hearse. Of course we can't. I wonder, let's see if we can slide this over just a little bit. Where am I at? Let's see if we can just shift this over. We don't need to get crazy. We just need to make enough room. So I wonder if we go like that. Still don't know if there's going to be enough room, but we can see. No, there's not. Sadly. So you know what, let's actually flip them the other way. I think that's just going to make more sense. And so now we will select the building, come all the way down here. We want to go to the hearse garage. Let's go ahead and delete that. And then what we're going to do now is actually have them come the other direction, which I think is going to be nice. Let's go ahead and turn off snapping and have them just turn this way. That actually worked out better. Honestly, I think that probably even looks better. And then because this I'm not really a huge fan of how this just ends. I think it's a little weird. And so what we're going to do is actually go into the extra assets tab, grab one of our hedges, and we're just going to come all the way around now. Like I think this just makes it look a little bit better. And then we'll come back through and do some detailing here, probably even do some grass and stuff just to make it look a little bit better. A lot of times, it's just this, groomed grass I think looks kind of good. Yeah, just kind of fill that in. Yeah, that makes it definitely look a little bit better. It is a little bit plain, but it's just kind of mowed grass, And so now this is kind of where some of the kind of cooler detailing comes in. I want to do a couple lakes, and I recently got some new water decals, and I found these in the deep recesses of the PDX mod store. I was just kind of clicking through. It was probably on like page 50. And I saw these and I was like, there's no way. Like now we can do fountains and stuff. And they're actually really cool. They are kind of hard to work with. There's not really a lot of things that you can use as edges right now. And so I actually played around with using like the blocks sunken into the ground and all kinds of stuff. And so we're actually going to be utilizing rocks. But what we're going to do first is actually grab that, and we're going to come in here, and sadly you can't really do curves, and so what we're going to have to do is kind of tricky with it. And then that way what we can do now is actually just come in here and kind of change a few of these. I think that looks pretty good. Let's come through here, and we do need to go to sub lanes. Let's actually remove those. So now what we're going to do is go into find it, and we are going to go to trees, we're going to go to rocks, and then we're actually going to come all the way down to these standing rocks. We're going to go to standing rock random, and then we're actually going to sink this into the ground. I think it's about 5 meters or so. I want to say maybe even 4. Let's do 5, see how that looks. Let's do 4. And then we will go into the simple curve, and we do want these to be, let's actually do, like that. I think that looks pretty good. I honestly wish they were a little bit closer. We're going to go ahead and turn them and then have them come closer. I think it's just going to be a little bit better this way. And then we do want them to change, and so I'm going to keep this on. I kind of want it to be like a rock wall of some kind. I want to make sure that it's not too tall. Yeah, you know what? I think that looks pretty good. And so now what I'm going to do is just kind of follow the surface around, and we can make it into a more curved shape now, which is kind of nice. Okay, and just a few seconds later, we are finished. And this is definitely the look that I was going for. I think it looks really cool. And so one of the things that we can do now is come in here, and I want to do a couple pathways. We definitely want to get some paths in here. I want to have a path come from back here, and we are going to get a little bit of a conflict with the building. And so this might actually disappear a little bit, which kind of sucks. So then we will kind of meander this through here. Let's go ahead and just have it connect up right here. And then we can have this one kind of meander through as well, go like this. And one of the things I'm going to do, and it's kind of funny, it was from looking at this building, I'm going to do some of this rock detailing. It's kind of cool again. So if you go into extra assets, let's go into sand, and I believe it's this sand texture surface 2. So we will now come over here, we'll go like that. And then one of the things you can do is, and it's kind of copying their idea, but it still looks really cool. Especially, I mean, it comes in the vanilla game already, so it's kind of like an extension of their detailing already, which I think looks kind of cool. So we'll go like that. And then now we will go into the little shovel icon, grab some shrubs. We want to get out of find it. Go in here, grab some of these. We'll do this cultivated one. Then just kind of fill in some of these spaces. And this just helps to give it a little bit more depth. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that looks so cool. That looks awesome. I really like that a lot. And then now to finish it all off, again, you know, grabbing from their initial design, we're going to use these garden lights. And I want to go into the continuous tab. Let's go ahead and increase these a bit. We don't need them to be that close. Then we'll come all the way across. And I like how these are kind of like bollards, you know, there's not bollards in the game. And so I use these a lot as bollards. And then we could even grab, you know, like a small tree. Let's grab this birch tree. Let's actually do one that's a little bit bigger. If we go like this, and then just kind of finish it off with some benches. So we'll grab this, go in here. You know what? I don't know if putting benches in there would be the best. Maybe not. So we'll actually finish it off with a few small rocks. So instead of using the boulders, we'll go all the way down to rock random. Yeah, look at that. Man, I really like this a lot. It's a really cool design. I never thought about this like sand texture being used as like a small pebble texture. And so what we're going to do now is just replicate a lot of this. And so what I'm going to do is actually just switch back and forth between this kind of groomed grass. So we'll end up doing this probably on the front side a little bit, just filling a lot of this in. But then on the inside, we'll end up using this kind of rock texture. And we do want to have some sections where people can kind of walk up to and kind of view it. We don't want it all to be the rock. And there we go. So just a few seconds later, and I'll probably even come back through and do like some bollards or something. I think this looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this done real quick, and then we can kind of check it out and continue on with the rest of our build. Okay, and so just a few moments later, I am finished. And I did kind of go a little bit crazy on it. Honestly, I got kind of excited. I was like, man, this is going to look really cool. And so I did pretty much the same kind of template going all the way around. I did the little bollards, I did benches. I only added in one more pergola all the way back there. But then I jumped back and forth between the sand and the grass because I felt like it just made it look a little bit more landscaped. I ended up putting in some bushes, and then I varied the ages of the birches depending on where they were. Like the grass ones tend to be a little bit older, and then there are younger ones as well. I put younger ones on this front side. I finished this as well. I did the tile going across, and sadly, the tile has different variations. And so the color of this is slightly off, but I still think it looks good. I like the overall appeal. And so I do want to get back to building. I feel like spending too much time on detailing can kind of loosen people. And so we'll come back to a lot of this at the end, but I do want to wrap up a lot of this with some more really cool detailing. But I think by adding in a few other small buildings, it would be smart as well. Like we want to get maybe some offices or something in here to just kind of help to bring it all together, especially for a complex like this. Like you would probably have a pretty large amount of office buildings. Let's go ahead and go like this. And then let's go ahead and bring this in, connect it up. And then we'll probably have this just come down into a cul-de-sac. And then that way what we can do is go into our office zoning. And we're not just going to blanket zone this. We want to do, I think we're going to do a big one. I wonder if we can get one big one in there. Let's see. Nope, that's not what we want to do. So we want to go back. Let's maybe just get this one right there. And then let's go ahead and do a big one back here as well. We'll do a 6x6, so 6x6. Let's see if that comes in. Yeah, it does. Perfect. And then that way we can actually do some small little low density as well. And this is where you're going to get like your little restaurants and stuff like that. And it is pretty common for places like this to have stuff like this. And so I actually worked in a big office complex. It wasn't a medical facility. It was more of like an office park. But it had a lot of like small little shops and stuff like that. And it was really cool. It was actually a really nice place to work. And so now we want to come back here and just do a couple of these. I don't really want the small ones. You know what? I think we're actually going to choose these out. I think it's just going to be a little bit easier. So if we go into buildings and go to offices, let's now go scroll down. We want to do, yeah, you know what? I like these ones right here. I think this looks pretty good. And then that way what we can do is actually draw on a road as well. And then that way they're like little administrative buildings as well. And let's go ahead and do just a small bit of parking back here. Not a lot. We don't need to get crazy with it, but let's do that. And so these would be like supplemental buildings to our overall kind of hospital thing right here. And then let's go ahead and connect this up as well. I'm kind of looking at this. I'm like, you know what? It just looks kind of weird to leave there. So if we go like that, yeah, I think that just looks a little bit better. And then let's actually do a small little bit of low density. I want to see what we get in there. We may come back and get rid of that. But then the idea is to come back through here. I'm probably going to do some more rock detailing over here. I want to do an extended sidewalk. So we'll probably grab this, have it kind of roll through here, and then I'm going to do some decals and stuff to kind of bring it all together. But we want to make sure that we have some good accessibility for this area. Yeah, I think this looks good. Let's go ahead and do another small bit of commercial or another small bit of parking in here. There would be an overabundance of parking. You would still have a ton of surface lots for a complex like this. Like these would be the lots for these smaller buildings. Same with that one. They would be the lots for this. And so I think that looks pretty good. You know, I like the overall look. I think what we can do is probably just detail this a little bit faster, and then we'll come back through in the end and kind of do something a little bit more grand. Yeah, so if we go like this, and then let's go ahead and do some of this groomed grass on this side. I like the groomed grass. I think it, you know, you definitely got to be careful with it because it does change directions for like the mow marks. And so you do need to be kind of careful. Sometimes it doesn't look the greatest, but I do think it looks a little bit better than just the standard grass. Like I like the overall look of that. I think that looks cool. And then what we'll do is probably come in here and do some hedges around just to kind of give some separation. Then we'll probably just have it end right here because we want to have some of this open for people over here. But then I think we will do a small hedge coming in on this side just to, again, give it some little separation. You don't need to get crazy with it, but it does help to make the place look a little bit more realistic. Like a lot of times whenever you see these big office parks, they're not just open like this. Like you have trees and it's kind of closed off. So having it like that, I think that looks pretty good. And then we can just come through and do some trees. Like we'll grab this spruce. I'll go to all three sizes and then we'll just kind of splatter these around. And what this does is it just helps to kind of break it up a bit. And let's do the birches following the road. And we're actually going to do just the young ones. We're going to have it follow the road all the way down. It's kind of the detailing that we used for the big section. And so I think it would be nice to kind of copy that a little bit. And then for this section, I think what we're going to do is probably another big plaza with a lake. And so I think I'm going to push that to the end. So if you want to see that, go ahead and stay tuned. It's going to be at the end. And we'll come back through and just kind of make it look really cool. And so over here, I want to do a small park. If we can fit it, you know, let's see if we can get two of these. Yeah, let's turn off anarchy. Let's see how it looks. I don't know how two of these is going to look. So it looks good. The tile difference is definitely a problem. So what we're going to do is give that another try. Maybe we'll try this one. Watch, we're going to get the color that we just had. Hey, there you go. Perfect. And then we can actually smash these together. Yeah, go like that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I like the overall look of that. And then we can actually just come around the outside and fill in some of this little grass stuff. And voila, there we go. Just a few seconds later, we're going to go ahead and leave this for the end of detailing. And I think this actually already looks really good. I like the idea of just using these kind of taller spruces too. I think it really helps to break it up. You do have to have anarchy on, as conflicts in this game are a little bit tight, especially versus Cities Skylines 1. And just a few seconds later, I am feeling pretty good about it. You know, I like this whole thing. We definitely need to come through and do some rocks in here. We need to come through. I want to do probably another pond with a fountain in the front. And let's do some bushes and stuff in here too, because I don't really like these little empty spaces. I think a lot of times it just kind of looks weird. It really could look better if you just did like a fence or something like that. A lot of times, like if you just leave the space empty, it tends to not look as good, at least in my opinion. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll leave that side empty. Yeah, you know what? I like that a lot. I think that looks good. And we could even come through and do some bushes on the other side or something. I think on this front side though, what we'll do is some trees along this this road. Man, this is already looking really cool. Especially, I like the taller buildings in there. This is something that you do see in a complex like this. Like a lot of times, especially if you're in a downtown district or near downtown, you'll have a well-groomed complex like this with a couple tall buildings. And this kind of helps to give us a few more jobs, which is pretty important. So I think this looks pretty good for this section. We have some unfinished details, but we're going to push them all to the detailing time lapse. And so let's go ahead and move over to the next section. And what we're going to do, I think we're going to do this one. Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit bigger. And so the first thing I want to do is actually divide up this section. Initially, it's kind of funny. In my test build, I had built this entire thing out as the medical facility. And then after doing it, I was like, man, there's just too much empty space. Like it's a little too big. So I think this is actually going to be a little bit better. And what we're going to do is have this come in, go like this, and then we're actually going to turn it at a 90 if we can. Come on, game, you can do it. Yeah, there we go. And then connect it up. And then we're going to put our parking right in the front. Hopefully I left enough room. I think I did. So it looks like I did not. Let's go ahead and try that again. Attempt number 2. Actually, you know what? Let's put this in first. Yeah, we'll go like that. And then now what we can do is just draw the road on the backside. And then that way now what we can do is connect this up, just have this go like that. And then let's go ahead and put in our hospital. And you know what's so funny is we actually forgot to do the upgrades for the hospital. So let's go ahead and do the upgrades here. We're going to do the trauma center. We're going to do the specialized treatment facility, and we're going to do the helipad. It's kind of funny. I kept hearing the helicopter over here, but I think it's because it's coming from the disease center. Yeah, the disease control center has 2 helipads in the back. So let's go ahead and do the trauma center and the specialized treatment ward again and the helipad, because these are pretty important. It really helps to just cover the area a little bit better. And this is already, like you see this yellow, this should really help out this area a lot. We have quite a bit of yellow, and you know, we're really just running off this hospital and the medical university. And so with these 2 other hospitals, we're really going to help to kind of increase this. I think it ends up at like 70 or 71, but either way, it's really good for our city. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and bring this across. And I would like to I was kind of hoping to have, you know what we're going to do? We're going to leave that like that. And then we're actually going to come up. I'm tempted to connect this up again. We're going to go ahead and try it. Let's check that hill out though. I mean, it's not too bad. So we're going to end up doing another little kind of terrain over here. I don't think we're going to do rocks or anything, but we want to try to create something that's going to be fun and also aesthetically pleasing. And so now let's do a bigger office park. Of course, we didn't get the big one. So let's backpedal, and we're going to do an extended sidewalk. And then that way, what we can do now, we want to come back 6, go over 6, since we know that is the biggest level of zoning. And of course, did we get 6 coming back? We want the big building. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And then let's do just a little bit of parking right next to it. We want to have some localized parking. We could even have this turn in the back as well, which could be good. Just kind of surround it a little bit. And then this does provide a couple little detailing opportunities as well, but I think the parking itself is pretty good. And then let's do a couple little rows of commercial off of that. So we'll go just like that. And then let's do this. And these would be like, again, your restaurants, the places that people who are working here would go. We're going to turn this into probably a small park area with a couple commercial areas. So I want to do another pond, but I want there to be some shopping areas for people to kind of go and have lunch. It's really important, especially for areas like this. So we'll go just like that. And then let's go ahead and remove zoning off of this. Let's remove zoning off that front side too. So we're not going to do zoning on this inside. What I want is just small zoning off this back side. So I'm going to do 3 2x2s. Yeah, you know what? That's going to be good, because then right here in the middle, what we're going to do, and we can actually get rid of this, is another one of our kind of, lake. I want it to look cool. That's really, especially because it's a hospital and it would probably be the same company. We would imagine that there would be some sort of carryover from the landscaping, especially a lot of times whenever you have stuff like this. A property developer will purchase the whole piece of land and then lease it back to certain things. So like the hospital would be your anchor, and then the property developer would provide the parking garage and then lease the buildings to these other subleasers. They'd all probably also lease the land here, but it's just a way for the property developer to, kind of make some more money. So now let's come over here. I want to do another big one if we can. Yeah, we'll go just like that. And then let's do a couple smaller ones. I think having at least a few small would be good. We're just going to go like that. And then let's do a small little row of office. We'll go like that. And until the road changes, it's actually not going to build that in. Okay, so we got our big buildings coming in. And so for this little section, we're going to do the lake. And honestly, I'm wondering if maybe we should do something back here as well. I'm thinking maybe if we just extend out our little grass over here. You know what, that actually doesn't look that bad. I am tempted to actually remove these and then just make it look a little bit better. We don't need to get too crazy with it. Just put in a few trees, kind of clean it up a bit. So we'll do the spruces again, because it is the same developer. We would imagine that they would carry over some of the same landscaping design, probably even the same company. And then let's go ahead and grab that birch now. And we are going to have this follow the pathway. And I think I'm going to do rocks on that front side. I really like the rocks a lot. I think it's a really cool look. Yeah, so if we come in here, let's go to our sand surface number 2 and let's fill this in. Yeah, I think this is going to look really cool. I'm glad that we found this whole like kind of rock thing. I really like design ideas like that. I think they're cool. It does look like I kind of messed up on this a little bit, so I'm going to go into the better bulldoze. And actually, you know what? It looks like that's actually 1. I was thinking that was going to be 2. So let's just extend this out, try to connect that up. Yeah, if we go like this and bring this across, bring this down, and bring this down. Yeah, you know what? That looks a little bit better. And then what are these? These are little, oh, you know what? This actually looks really cool. So we could actually do like a small courtyard in here. Let's go ahead and bring those. Let's bring this back. And then what we can do, let's bring these like right next to each other. Do like a little concrete area with some seating in here. I think that would actually be really cool. And just a few seconds later, so I did a couple benches with some trash bins, and then I'll probably come back through and do some benches and stuff on that backside. We could do some rocks on this backside too, or even just a couple little trees, just brushes, fill this in, kind of cover it up a little bit. Because having this kind of like that, I don't think looks the most real. We could even do like a hedge as well. You know what? I think a hedge is probably better. So if we come across, we can bring this hedge all the way down, just block it off. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. And then that way we can come all the way this way as well. And then let's go ahead and remove, oh, it looks like the trees disappeared on their own. So let's come in here now and let's do a couple birches. And then let's do a bigger birch right here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then we can even do some little bushes as well, just kind of clean it up. Once we come back through and do the rocks as well, it's going to look a little bit better. Really help to bring all this together. But I think that looks pretty cool already, especially we're going to get the little lake in there. We need to do some bushes. So let's grab some bushes, just put them in here. And I'm really going for like a foliage kind of look with this. And that's why like a lot of times it's better if you can have them kind of outgrow from under the trees as well. This really goes a long ways to make your city just look a little bit more alive, give it some more depth. You can also grab any of your trees and actually sink them into the ground. I do like that as well. I've done it with the oaks. With our beach area, it does look really cool, but you definitely got to be careful with it. And then over here, let's go ahead and grab our wooden fence and just bring this across, connect that up. Fantastic. And then we will probably just do some trees around here. We don't need to get too crazy with a lot of the detailing. I think we are going to add in a parking lot though. Thinking maybe even a small one right here could be good. So if we bring this way, let's go ahead and turn off anarchy. And then let's come this way up. Fantastic. And then let's do a small parking lot back here as well. Let's go ahead and get out of this view so we can see what we're doing. Look at that. I think that looks pretty good. And I think this is a lot of parking. I think maybe even cutting off this little backside might be better. Yeah, I think if we get rid of that. And so this is already looking pretty cool. We could even do like another small bit of something back here. I feel like this is maybe a little empty. So if we were to grab this, let's go ahead and bring this back. And then that way we can do our extended sidewalk on this side. And then let's go ahead and do our sidewalk kind of continuing on over here. I feel like it's just going to make more sense if we connect it up all the way around. That's kind of how a lot of these end up having these like walking areas too, which is kind of cool. I think that looks a little bit better. And then that definitely lends itself to being able to just do some more spruces and stuff. We'll probably even come through here and do some of the groomed grass just to kind of clean it up. We definitely want to, I could even do rocks on the front side too. Man, I really like those rocks a lot. I think they're a really cool addition. It's a lot of detailing ideas. So we'll have this extend across as well. Go just like that. Fantastic. And then I'm tempted to even go like this and then potentially get a couple small bits of commercial right there. Yeah, you know what? I think that's going to be good. And then, you know what? I think I am going to do it. I'm going to do the rocks on the front side. I think it's just going to be a really fun look. And again, same detailing company. same landscaping company, and so I think they would kind of follow a lot of the same design theology. And then let's remove the trees. We're going to come in here, grab our tree tool, go to the multi-brush, and you want to make sure that this is unchecked. And let's go ahead and drop that down just so that we don't destroy all of our detailing everywhere. And we want to increase that brush size just so we don't have to sit there forever. And so I think even on this side, we could probably do a couple small bits of commercial. We do need to cut this off though. So I wonder if we can come all the way down. If we go like that, it's going to mess this zoning up. I think I'm going to get rid of that, but I think what we can do, let's go ahead and go like this and then grab this, go like that. And then let's do a bigger one on the end. And you know what? I would prefer that to be North American. I think it's just going to look a little bit better. Look at that. And then let's go back and remove this kind of weird path that we got going on. And then we can come through here. Let's add a path coming up here. And then let's go ahead and add this path going over there as well. We'd really want to encourage walking. That's having green belts and stuff is one of the big kind of takeaways to developments like this. And then let's go ahead and fill this section in. And again, I'm going to come back through during our detailing time lapse and fill in those rocks. But then it allows us to come back through here and fill these in with the kind of mowed grass. I think we're going to leave some of this as concrete. I think I'm going to leave some of that empty right now because I don't know exactly what we're going to do around some of those buildings. Because I think we don't want to just kind of fill it all in. Some of these are going to require a more, practiced approach. So we're going to have to come through here and kind of extend some of these out. Because I think if we just do the green grass everywhere, it's going to lend itself to not look as realistic, which is kind of not what I'm going for. And so if we go like that, I think it just looks a little bit better if you can extend it. And I could also just grab the thing and stretch it out. I do find the one load that it kind of gives me some problems. And so a lot of times I don't do that. Like for even sections like this, like what we could do is probably do like a hedge or something around the outside just to give them a little bit of space for like some breaks or something. But then at the same time, kind of provide a little bit of separation in here, which is always good. And then let's just extend some of these out. And I think it's really going to help to kind of bring this all together. Especially, for these big open spaces, I'm just going to follow that same design theology that we were doing before. Kind of fill these in, just do like these big groups. And then I'm probably going to do the birches on the front side with some bushes. And I think the rest of this we're probably going to leave for the detailing time lapse. But I think overall, this is a pretty cool little section. I like that we got these two taller buildings. And I like that, we kind of followed that same design theology. And so I really think once we get this completed, it's going to look really good. So go ahead, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any ideas, go ahead and let me know. What we're going to do now is jump over to the last area. And this area actually already has a little bit of a lake. And so it's going to be kind of cool. We're just going to work around with it, probably do some key walls. And the first thing I want to do is actually move our little radio tower. And I do want to have anarchy off. So we'll go probably right there. We can actually, let's go on the other side. Yeah, if we go over here, I think it's just going to be a little bit better. I don't like having it right there on that road. And so what we're going to do is draw in a road first, and we're going to do a regular road. We're going to draw this in, and I don't want it to connect because people start using this as a cut through. It really kind of becomes a problem. So I want to put this right there. Yeah, you know what? I think that looks fantastic. And this is definitely going to be a little bit smaller than our last area, but honestly, it still comes together looking pretty cool. So we're going to grab this big parking lot now. We're going to go all the way out. And the nice thing is we already have a crematorium in here, which is kind of cool. But I think for right now, we're going to go like that. And then what we're going to do, we want to have a couple taller office buildings. So we're going to do a 6x6 right there. And then I think we are going to trim this back just a little bit. I think having this close isn't the greatest. We do want to watch out for that water source though. Like we could potentially start causing some serious flooding issues if we don't pay attention to that. But then now what that does is it kind of just allows us to come back through here and to our pathway around, which is pretty important. And then let's grab this now. And we do want to create an area where people can kind of come out and enjoy the lake. Like that would really be one of the big features for being in this area. Like it'd be really nice, especially like if you're having a kid or something and you're in the hospital. It would be a pretty cool little feature is you'd be able to look out the window and see the lake. I left these spaces in here so that we could do some pathways because we, again, really want to encourage people to walk around here. Yeah, this is looking pretty cool. We'll do a small road in here and then let's do just a little bit of commercial up this side as well. These would be like with patios facing the water, which would be kind of cool. So we'll do just some 2x2s. We'll go like that. Let's go ahead and do one right there, and let's do a bigger one. I'm not sure what exactly is going to come in there, but we'll see. And then that way what we can do is actually trim this back. Yeah, I'm tempted to do a key. I think the key is going to come out looking a little bit better. I'm tempted though. So let's see what the water source looks like first. So we're going to just shift it over just a little bit. We don't need to get crazy. But then what we're going to do, and this is probably going to flood a lot of the area, which is really the problem. We really got to be careful with this. So we're going to trim this down. We're going to go like that. And then let's go ahead and do a road. This is going to look kind of cool. I think the natural area might have looked a little bit better. I can always go back to. We'll definitely play around with it because I think having the natural kind of pond and lake in there could also have looked really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that looks as good. You guys let me know. I'm going to get rid of it. I think that having the natural lake looked a little bit better because then we can just do some shrubbery around the outside and stuff. Make it into a cool little area, rather than having like a fountain, So let's go ahead and let these buildings grow in. This definitely isn't as big as the other sides, but you know what? We'll probably still do some rock detailing around the outside. And I like that we got the big parking lot in there. I think that's smart, especially with the hospital. And then let's go ahead and give the upgrades for the hospital. So trauma center, specialized treatment ward, and then the helipad. And this should already, so we got 3 big areas. We should be boosting up our healthcare quite a bit. And so, yeah, we're already at 70. Look at that. And one of the things that you can do as well is actually go into your district tool and, constrict these hospitals to a specific area, which could be good. And honestly, as we expand out this area, we'll probably even want to do another hospital over there. Because especially for bigger cities, like we're pretty big, but in real life for a bigger city, you have a lot of hospitals. Like my hometown of Las Vegas has a bajillion hospitals. And so let's go ahead and just complete some of this detailing in here. We'll do the bucket tool for these areas. We'll get that rock detailing in there. And so now what I'm going to do is jump into a detailing time lapse, and I'm going to go ahead and finish all the detailing. So I still have quite a bit of detailing over here. I probably want to, decorate up this pond a little bit. I'm probably going to bring it in, maybe do some foliage. Do some pathways going in so that people can kind of walk, maybe do some pergolas and stuff. And then over on this area, this is kind of a bigger area. I want to do a lake with a fountain in here. And then we're going to do some more trees. I'm going to do some rock landscaping going around the outside. And I think it's going to look really cool. I'm excited for it. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump into that. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so after much work, I am finally finished, and honestly, this took me hours. It was kind of fun though. I kind of dove into it pretty hard, and so I ended up doing another lake on this side, and I did change up the geometry of this lake because I really wanted to get this pathway through there. But I think it looks cool. I ended up having the boulders kind of go into the water as well, and then I ended up added in a couple more commercial buildings over here with some trees. I finished the rest of this, so I did the rock landscape, put in a bunch of trees. I filled in pretty much every space that I could. So I did bushes. Ooh, and it actually looks like I forgot something back here. This would probably be good for us to maybe get another little bit of commercial. That would be sweet. So then I ended up doing the birch trees following our roadway, and I think this looks really cool. And it actually looks like I forgot the bollards as well. Wow, I did. So I'm going to come back and put in the bollards. But then I did the hedges to kind of block off and create some separation. And this one was actually the easiest because we had already completed this section right here, which I think looks really cool. I really like this overall lake. I think it looks awesome. And so let's go ahead and back out and go over to this side. So this side took me quite a bit of time, and I definitely took it pretty far. And so I did end up doing a lake, and I did a fountain in the middle, and I split it up with this kind of grassy area for you to walk in and kind of go sit on some benches and stuff. And then I did the rocks going into the water a little bit again because I thought it looked really cool. And for this side, I actually did do bollards. And so I did the benches as well. I really like these ponds a lot. I think they look really cool, and it looks like I forgot a texture back there too. So then I ended up doing the rock texture going all the way around with the little bollards. And then I did a pathway with some benches. I created some foliage with trees in the back. And I went all the way around. This actually took me a while. It was quite a bit of desert landscaping. But then I did hedges, kind of going around a lot of these spaces that were open, just kind of block it off, create some separation so that you could have like some big grassy open areas with the hedge kind of in the back, just separating it. And then did kind of the same thing over here, just did the mowed grass. I couldn't do the mowed grass back here because it was on such a hilly terrain. But then I did it over here, and I did end up doing some more hedges and stuff. I extended some areas that were kind of on hills. So like I did a little bit of grass back here with some bushes. Went around here, and I even created a nice little like kind of seating area with another little fountain, put in some light poles and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny. We have all three colors. We have red, we have like a brown, and then we have this kind of yellowish color too, which kind of looks like these are the same, but maybe the lamps are just different. I do need to either put in like a hedge or something there, or kind of close that off. Then backing out, I did pretty much the same thing. Again, we're assuming that the same landscaping company probably worked on this whole thing, and so they were probably dealing with the same kind of idea with all this. But then back here, I did the same grass, trees with some foliage, and I think it looks really good. I actually really like this one a lot. I think looking from this direction, it just looks really awesome, especially zooming out. Like we got these big buildings, we got this little pond in the middle. I do wish this was in the front of the building, but I think on the side it still looks good, especially with the little commercial buildings and stuff like that. So we got some amenities for people who are renting in the office park. And so let's go ahead and zoom out and scroll over to our last section. And this actually took me a while. I wasn't really sure what to do about this pond. And so I did stick with the regular pond look. I ended up doing some of the river decals, but then I ended up doing some staining and some more river kind of stamps around the outside because I didn't want to have that line. So I really wanted to blend it. And then I did boulders and rocks even in the pond because I really wanted to create, those little things that you could kind of see. And I even put the boulders kind of in the water as well, so you could kind of see it. And then did the same thing, did desert landscaping going all the way around. I did add in pergolas and a little bit more benches for this one because I wanted people to be able to look into the lake. I felt like this would really be like a big selling point for this area. Like this would just be really cool to kind of come, like maybe bring the family, walk your dog, or you could even bring like a kite or something. But then it also has a lot of amenities for the people who are within the office park as well. And so did trees going all the way around with some groomed grass. A lot of these are commercial and also low density office space. And then I actually really like this one. I think this building kind of came in perfect. At first I thought I had selected it, but then I was like, man, this thing just looks great right here. But then I extended some of these out. It looks like I forgot a few more bits of bushes and stuff, which I need to come back and fill those in. A couple little desert, landscaping areas. And I think it looks really cool. I actually really like all three builds. I think they're really cool. I like that we kind of, and I actually got this little patio too. So I created this little patio, three different sets of chairs, because I would assume it's, three different companies that are kind of competing with each other. I could even, extend one of these walls out to maybe like separate it, like maybe they're competing with each other or something. But I decided to keep it open, and then I did some bollards kind of blocking the view into the waters. But I think this looks really cool. I really like that we kind of took this to the next level. I think the medical facilities look awesome. And so go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any fun build ideas or anything. I love suggestions. On our next episode, we are going to be getting kind of crazy with an industrial park over here. And I am super excited about it. I'm still kind of playing around with some ideas, but it's going to be kind of crazy. If you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.